Okay, welcome everyone. There's more seating over here if you need to sit. Welcome to the spring parent player meeting for spring sports. If you're not aware by now, we offer softball, golf, baseball, and track and field. So each of our coaches is here tonight. When we're all done, you can meet with them for a little bit in like the four corners of the gym. We're not going to go into different groups or anything, but it's a chance for you to not just learn about all the procedures and policies that we have to follow, and this meeting is an obligation. So it's also for you to meet the coaches. But mainly for me, it's to go over all the stuff that you need to know to play sport here, and really in any high school. But there's a few special eligibles, of course. What tech school would we be without special rules? If you haven't signed in yet, make sure you do sign in. There's a specific sheet for each sport. Just put your athlete's name, your name, and sign so that we know you're here. If you are someone that is watching online, you need to drop your athlete's name and your name in the chat so I can document that you're here. Okay? But don't do it now, you gotta do it at the end. You have to stay the whole time. I can say that there probably won't be a virtual option moving forward because we're trying to go back to real life, but what I will do is in June, I will be publishing next year's awards nights and meeting dates. And what we just did, if you weren't here, we did the winter awards and the spring meeting back to back, so it's one less time you have to leave your house, and same thing for coaches and myself. So we're trying to get it all done at once, so hopefully we can all appreciate that. So just one last time, make sure you sign in at the door if you haven't. If you forgot, you can do it on the way out. First things first, to actually be able to step foot on the field to play, you have to sign up. Just showing up here doesn't cut it. There is a website called familyid.com. If you go there and type in the search bar Ellis Tech, any of our open registrations show up there, which spring 2022 is the only one that's open right now. So click on that. A parent or guardian, legal guardian age, basically what I'm saying is a student cannot do it for you, okay? So if I see a student, Ellis Tech email at cttech.org, I'm automatically canceling that registration. So students, stop registering yourself, okay? If anything ever came to be, it would not hold up. So register online. Once you make one account with Family ID, that's why using a parent email is important, so they can just save it and log in the next season. Make sure it's a lot easier. Once you do all that, there's a concussion video embedded in there. There's concussion sign-off, sudden cardiac arrest sign-off, heat prevention illness sign-off. You're signing in your life away, basically. All that is in there. Once you do that, and the nurse inputs your physical in there, and I can see that it's valid, which means it's not expired in the last 13 months, then I click approve. If I click not approved, what I usually have started doing is I will send you an email from Family ID. I can do it right in the portal. So you might get a message that says, greetings, this is just a notice that your child's physical is currently expired, or maybe expired soon, so you know. Just to make sure the sounds work, because that would be awful, huh? So the physical is really the only reason you wouldn't be approved, because if you're already on Family ID, I can't click not approved for anything but the physical. 14 months, because they understand your insurance company won't let you schedule within a 12-month time period. The other thing that you need to play sport here is commitment to 5 or 6 days a week of practices, games, vacations, weekends. It's high school. These are high school varsity sports. Your coaches have expectations that you will be there and you will be committed. So this, talk to your coach if you have an issue with that. Moving on, eligibility to play sport. If you're currently playing sport right now, you're probably still eligible, but quarter 3 closes grade-wise, beginning of April, first week of April-ish. April 6th? Ooh. So what you don't want to happen is you start a tryout for baseball, you make the team, and then all of a sudden you fail 2 classes and you can't play anymore. So to maintain eligibility, you need to be passing your trade. If you're here for a trade, you can't fail your trade. You cannot fail PE. You are an athlete. You should not be failing PE. And you cannot fail more than 1.5 credits of academic coursework. So all your majors, English, math, science, social studies, those are all 1 credit per year. You cannot fail 2 of those or you're out. If you fail like English and an art, which is like a 0.25 or 0.5, you're still okay. You can't fail more than 1.5 credits of coursework. And you have to be in school for what counts as a full day. Does anyone know what that is? Like say you have a doctor's appointment at 9 in the morning, what time do you have to be here? 10:40 is the latest you can check in if you don't come in the morning for it to count as a day. I believe it's 3¼ hours total you need to put in. So if you do schedule doctor's appointments, try to make them first thing in the morning or maybe like towards the end of the day so that you put in your 3¼ hours so that it's not like, oh, hey, you can't play today because you came in too late, or you left early for a doctor's appointment but never came back. That stuff happens. So just parents be aware of that. All right, the next part is COVID protocol. I believe we're just following the CIAC's COVID protocol. Things are pretty much opening back up. We planned out spectators. We don't plan to wear masks, so it's optional. And we do have to respect, if we go to another school and they require us to wear masks, we would have to wear them because it's their site. But I don't foresee that being a huge issue, especially outdoors, for all these outdoor sports. Still continue to be vigilant by not sending our kids to school if they're sick, okay? We have test kits here at school. I believe everyone had a chance to take one the other day. So, don't send them to school if they're sick or have symptoms. And just, follow common sense with that stuff. And if they test positive, you have to follow the 5 days out quarantining bit. And then when you come back, you do have to wear a mask for 5 more days. That's like the school policy, not necessarily CIC. The big thing now with CIC that kind of cropped up this winter was the return to play for COVID. We didn't have enough return to play policies to deal with. Because of the way COVID could potentially affect the cardiovascular system and your lungs and whatnot, in order to return to play after a positive COVID test, you have to see your doctor and get clearance to return. And let me tell you, the way they write the note for them to come back is very important. For those of you who went through that this winter, you know. They have to say very specifically that this athlete has gone through, I think it's the American Academy of Pediatrics or the AAMSA, checklist or whatever, and that they can return to full competition and practice. That's basically saying the doctor is going to say they can skip the return to play. That has to be in there, or else they have to go through, basically, it's like a 7-day thing. So you can imagine after being out with COVID, 5 days, coming back and having to do another 7 days on top of that. Now you're missing 12 to 14 to 16 days of the season. That can be a lot, okay? So if you have questions about that, email me, call me, we'll work on it. But just, press your doctors to be very specific in what they say. Concussions, sudden cardiac arrest, and heat illness prevention. We have an updated emergency action plan, which will be going on the website pretty soon. Part of your sign-offs online is that you understand the signs and symptoms of a concussion. There are things like confusion, disorientation, irritability, trouble resting, uncomfortable, lack of concentration, slow response, drowsiness. Loss of consciousness, amnesia, memory problems, dazed appearance, constant balance problems, constant attempts to return to play. They put that as a headaches or dizziness, nausea, vomiting, blurred double vision, oversensitivity to light or touch, ringing in the ears, and feeling foggy or groggy. Obviously, some of those just are things that happen. Some of them are just signs of being a teenager and signs of being an athlete. So obviously, coupled with a potential head injury, these signs are things to look out for. The return to play, there's another return to play protocol for concussions. That is part of the sign-off on Family ID. Again, if there's a suspected concussion and Ryan, our trainer, or whoever our trainer is, it's usually Ryan, but sometimes he gets a fill-in. He manages all that, and he will work with you guys on what needs to be done. But basically, he needs, your athlete needs to go to a medical practitioner and get cleared to return to play. One thing that you want to remember, let's say you got a concussion back at the end of football season, and the season ended and you didn't have time to do the return to play. If you're coming into a spring sport and you had a past concussion, you still need to do the return to play. Okay, that's something that we need to make sure happens. So you can't just say, oh, I'll take the basketball off and not have to do the return to play. Not that anyone would do that, but it happens. Things get lost in the shuffle. Same thing with sudden cardiac arrest. There's a whole bunch of information about the signs and symptoms, and all of our coaches are aware of all these as well. We know where the AEDs are. It's a good practice, and the coaches will go over that. We have an AED out in the field house. We have an AED in here. There's one in the nurse's office. So that's standard practice that the athletes should go over with their coaches where all that stuff is and what should happen in an emergency. So that's part of the emergency action plan as well, is that they're practicing that. Basically, there's a few major policies. The athletic handbook is posted online in Family ID, you sign off, you read it, it's part of the sign-off. But the big ones are obviously no drugs, alcohol, vaping, hazing, or bullying. Those usually result in an immediate referral to administration, and then on top of whatever administrative punishments, consequences, whatever you get, then your coach or me, the AD, we work together, and there might be more suspensions, removals from the team, etc., based on a case-by-case basis and how that is. Hopefully none of that. Next thing, injuries. If you get injured, report it to your coach. I don't care if it's a splinter. They need to know about it. I say this because if that splinter becomes this giant, swollen, infected, terrible thing, and then all of a sudden, you can't play, you have to go to the hospital, whatever. Things escalate. If it escalates to a point where it's an injury that needs taken care of medically at the hospital, then we need to be able to write down those incidents and fill out reports for all that stuff. So your coaches need to report to me and the nurse these injuries. You don't just show up to school and ask for accommodations from the nurse if you haven't reported that injury to your coach. Because then the nurse turns around and says, well, where'd you get this injury? And you're like, oh, baseball practice. I jammed a finger. Well, your coach didn't know about it. So just keep that line of communication open with them. And the reason I say that is because, sorry, I've been talking too much. Secondary insurance exists through the school. So if your insurance covers whatever it can cover, you can file a claim with our insurance, and I have the claim paperwork for that. So you have to see me. It has to be filed within 90 days of the accident happening, or the incident happening. So make sure that you report those injuries so we can document when it happened, and we know to report that time. Transportation. Athletes are required to ride a bus to and and from away contests on school-provided transportation. If you're on the golf team, typically there's a sign-off on there that allows you to drive to Harrisville if you're an athlete who has a car. If you want to pick your kid up at an away game, like we don't want you to do it all the time, but because there's something to be said about riding the bus with your teammates and building camaraderie and teamwork and all that stuff, and just having fun with your teammates. If you want to take your kid home, just shoot me an email that says, I'm taking so-and-so home. I'll forward it to their coach so they know. And then don't just take your kid, sign them out with the coach so they know that you have them. So they're not on the bus like, oh, where's Johnny? Like, what the heck? Where did he go? And then finally, uniforms. Uniforms need to be returned at the end of the season, or if you decide to leave the team. Parents and guardians will be billed for missing or destroyed uniforms. Athletes will not be allowed to begin their next season until past uniforms are resolved or handed in. And that's it for uniforms. Just make sure you get them in. I think tonight's winter athletes dropped them off when they came in, so that was pretty good. Finally, just communicate. People ask me a zillion questions about like, where do I find this information and what's the best way to, get the schedule changes or whatever. Parent Square has been really helpful with that because I'll make like a spring. Those of you who played a winter sport, I put you all in a winter sport group and I sent out Parent Squares. So Parent Square is one place you'll get updated like changes if things change. We do have a Facebook page. It's LSEC Athletics, so facebook.com/LSEC-Athletics. We have a Twitter now that I'm trying to use more. I wouldn't rely on it for up to the minute information. I'm still working on that. And then CIACsports.com. They have an app, not an app. I have it bookmarked on my phone, but it's like a mobile site, so it's a little user-friendly. If you use your browser on your phone and you bookmark it, it's CIAC mobile. I can send it out in a blast, but anyway. It's casciac.org/CIAC mobile. Anyway, you click on that, and then you can get sports, tournament info, school, so you can look up by school the schedule or by sport the schedule. That's an easy way to get those changes as well, or to see the schedule as it is laid out. Right? Sometimes if you call the secretaries, they don't always know the answer. So just have patience with them. But otherwise, just keep communication open, and I think that's it. Did I cover everything? Sorry, I definitely talked too much. All right. So again, I do have a list of people who have currently signed up, and whether you are in the approved or not approved status. One thing about that, the nurse is overwhelmed. You can imagine. So she's overwhelmed. She's got a lot going on in there, and she's the only person in there usually. So I think I put out messages. If you think that your child's physical is in the nurse's office, you can always send me like a picture of it. I really need the page that has the doctor's signature, the date, and your child's name, so I know it's theirs and not someone else's. That's really all I need to see, and I can put the date in much quicker than she can. Okay? But you got to make sure that the nurse actually gets the physical copy of the physical. Don't give them to your coaches. Sorry, don't give them to your coaches. They got enough going on. They don't need to worry about that paperwork. So you can always shoot me an email with a picture of it or a PDF or whatever, and I will put it in to get it in quicker for you and make sure you're approved. For those of you who have been emailing me, I've been forwarding those emails and asking Ms. Salisbury to update it. And she's doing that as fast as she can. So you might be marked not approved right now, but if you know it's in, then we will find it. And if we don't, we will call you and get to the bottom of it. Okay? Other than that, the coaches are here. So if you're going to play baseball, you can meet with Coach Fig, Milton, Tony over there, in that area. If you're going to play softball, why don't you stay in this area? We'll have golf go over in that area, and track and field go over in that area, and you can kind of just meet your coaches, and thank you so much. if you're online, make sure you comment your name, your child's name, and what sport. Thank you.
Can I buy like a JV jersey after the season? Because I know you bought new blues. I like the.
Let me just mute it. All right. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully that helped.